We'll bring you that shortly, but first, too often we hear news stories of violent criminals going through the courts and getting off lightly. Reporter Ben McCormack joins us live, and Ben, this time the system has got it right.
Yes, Tracy, tonight, justice finally for a courageous young rape victim who came forward and told us her story after her attacker was given a soft sentence, even bail, by the courts. But Annie Flynn didn't give up, and her determination finally paid off, because now the Court of Criminal Appeal has stepped in and taken action, coming down on her attacker like a ton of bricks. Caleb, Ben McCormack from Channel 9. Do you think you're lucky that you're not in jail?
The everyday person needs to see what goes on in our legal system.
Can you understand why Annie's so upset, considering what you did to her, raping her like an animal?
He's just violent, manipulative, cunning, just not your nice guy.
The judges need to be held accountable for decisions that they make.
Do you deserve to go to jail, Caleb?
His decision was very, very wrong.
This is the story of a violent offender named Caleb O'Connor and a judge who went too soft.
His Honour unfortunately got it really wrong.
I just don't think that he really thought about what he was sentencing him for.
One of the offences carry a non-parole period of 10 years. 10 years, and he got not even half of that.
It's been a long 3 years for Annie Flynn. It was March 2011 when Caleb O'Connor, her then boyfriend, violently raped and twice attempted to choke her to death.
How close did he come to killing you?
I don't think he could have gotten any closer.
What sort of person is he?
A psychopath. He's a convicted rapist. He's a danger to society.
O'Connor was arrested and convicted, but while he was in jail awaiting sentencing, the story took a strange twist. He was bashed by another inmate with a sandwich maker. He would spend the next 2 months in a brain injury clinic. Then the court did something extraordinary. Judge Andrew Hassler released O'Connor on bail so he could get better.
The fact that he was let out of prison with no bail conditions really at all, except to report once a week. And I mean, you know, that's ludicrous.
So for the next 12 months, this serial violent offender was out in the community. And just take a look at how he spent his time. Here he is with his children. Here he is going out to dinner. Here he is riding his motorbike. And here he is at the gym lifting 130 kilos worth of weight. Not bad for someone with a severe brain injury.
There was absolutely no need for him to be released on bail, and of course his activities whilst he was on bail clearly indicated that he was still a risk to the community.
Victims of Crime advocate Howard Brown says the judge seemed to forget about Annie.
He clearly placed far too much emphasis on the needs of the offender and placed no emphasis whatsoever on the needs of the victim and of the community.
Do you think you're lucky that you're not in jail? For someone with a severe brain injury, you seem to be living a pretty good life. Can you understand why Annie's so upset, considering what you did to her, raping her like an animal? Are you sorry for what you did? In November, O'Connor would be sentenced, and Annie was expecting him to get a long jail term as punishment for his horrific crimes. But that didn't happen. Judge Hassler said that because O'Connor was bashed in jail, he was a changed man and was unlikely to reoffend, and therefore didn't deserve as severe a penalty. O'Connor was sentenced to 9 years with a minimum of just 4. With time already served, he would have been on the street again in 2 years. Judge Hassler even gave him a discount because his release date was near Christmas.
Judge took into account that during Christmas period that it's very difficult for corrective services and prisoners to be released during that time.
Detective Senior Constable Shane Green has been investigating this case since the day Annie was attacked, and he's been fighting for justice for her ever since. He was outraged at the light sentence.
2 of the matters carry 25 years, similar to manslaughter, so it is at the high end of any crime. Annie's lucky to be with us today.
Not only were Annie and the police appalled at the leniency of the sentence, so was the Department of Public Prosecutions, which immediately launched an appeal. And this week, the Court of Criminal Appeal agreed, ruling that the sentence handed down to Caleb O'Connor was manifestly inadequate. The review court was critical of Judge Hassler. It said O'Connor had a lengthy history for serious offences and had shown no remorse. It said that Judge Hassler's conclusion that O'Connor had been rehabilitated and was less likely of a risk to the community was not based in evidence. It said there was no legitimate basis for O'Connor to be given a special discount on his sentence just because it was Christmas. And it said that Judge Hassler was unduly influenced by the fact that O'Connor had been bashed in prison, and that it should not have made such a difference to his sentence.
It was my case, and he was to be sentenced for what happened to me, and the judge was just so focused on, you know, poor Caleb. But I couldn't comprehend how a judge could just be so blindsided.
He placed far too much emphasis on the needs of the offender and gave no consideration for not only the needs of the victim, but also the needs of the community.
So instead of the sentence of 9 years with a minimum of 4, the Court of Criminal Appeal imposed a new sentence, 14 years with a minimum of 10.5.
I think this new sentence is fair. I think it's justice.
Annie says she's relieved and grateful to all those who never gave up fighting for her.
I think the DPP have done an amazing job. They've really been amazing throughout this whole process, as have the police and the detectives.
We are out there to help you, and I believe our justice system can do better, and as it is proven, has done better.
It's like a weight's lifted off my shoulders now that it's over, so I'm glad the day is here. And it's just time to move on and heal now.
Annie tells us she's now going to dedicate her life to helping other victims of domestic violence.